Hey folks, my name is Pravus. Welcome back to more Europa Universalis 4 because gosh dang it, I had a lot of fun with the last run playing as Byzantium, and now I want to keep that train a-rolling. This is the most fun I've had in a few months. So I think I'm going to go with my original plan and try to play around with Portugal today and go for a couple of achievements that have been eluding me up to this point. I did receive some other recommendations, really appreciate it, keep them coming, I'll take that all under advisement, but there are some cool things I would like to do here. Now, Portugal is considered to be one of the most beginner-friendly nations in the game, which is actually one of the reasons I haven't played it up to this point, because I feel like, you know, that's got to be too easy, right? But there are some cool things you can do with Portugal. In a normal game, what you really want to do is just kind of sit tight in Europe and create a massive colonial empire. That's kind of your whole thing, is exploring and colonizing and becoming filthy, stinking rich. I'm going to be going for a slightly more aggressive playstyle, plus we have a couple achievements that are going to be on the clock that will be difficult to get, so I'm going to be focusing really hard on getting those, at least in the early game. Beyond that, we'll see what happens. Maybe massive European conquest, we will see. Let's begin an Iron Man game, and let's get started. Okay, so as I said, Portugal's in a fairly interesting position in the game. We have historical friendships with Castile, and if we wanted to ally with these guys and make them into a buddy for most of the game, we can do that. And they're going to keep us very, very safe in our little corner of the Iberian Peninsula. That is not going to be my long-term plan, but it is something we could certainly do. We also do start off allied with England, which can be nice, though it can also pull us into the 100 Years' War. We've got to be a little bit careful about that. Beyond that, though, let's take a look at our ideas, and that'll give you a pretty good concept of what Portugal is good at. So we start with some infantry combat ability and fleet movement speed. Infantry combat ability, very, very good to have. If we finish out all these ideas, 20% global tariffs is great with colonial nations. Beyond that, we'll get some extra morale of navies, plus a lot of colonial range, which is very useful. Goods produced modifier, global trade power, global settler increase, trade efficiency, construction costs, yearly absolutism, and then fort defense and artillery fire, which is actually quite good. So, very maritime trade focused. That is kind of the entire idea, and almost every time you play the game, you're going to go for exploration ideas first to just go ahead and build upon that and start getting those colonies up and a-running. We also do have a unique government reform ever since 1.35. That is going to be the Portuguese monarchy. National tax modifier, sailor recovery speed, and naval force limit plus 20%. So again, lots of ships. That's the point. Taking a look at our missions, some of these are also going to lend to that. Most of this entire mission tree is going to be involved in colonialism in some way. Whether that's exploring to the west, colonizing Africa, the Caribbean, the Cape of Good Hope, and so on, all the way until we eventually push into India and settle in Indonesia and blah, blah, blah. There's so many colonial missions, it's absolutely sickening. A couple things I want to finish very early on include an English alliance. So we already have the alliance, I just need to get their opinion up to 100. Easily done if we just do a quick royal marriage with them, which I will do just so we can clear that out pretty much immediately, finish the mission before the game even ends, get even more opinion with them, get permanent claims on Galicia, Northern Castile, and then we have struggle for Iberia for 20 years, giving me morale of armies. We could have held off on that, but I'll go ahead and pop it now, just so I don't mess this up. The other thing I want to do is competitive advantage. We need to get our navy and army size up toward the force limit. Do that. We get some diplo power, navy tradition, and a whole bunch of claims, not only on more of Castile, but also a chunk of northern Africa around Morocco. This is going to be one of our primary areas for expansion in the early game. We've already got a little fort right down here. There's a lot of territory I wouldn't mind taking from Morocco and their three little vassals down over moi. To that end, let's go ahead and ally Castile right away, because I'm going to curry some favors with them and then try to use them to fight Morocco for me. I'm not very strong, but Castile certainly is. This is not a long-term alliance, though, it's just to get my footing. Instead, I'm going to also start improving relations here with France, because long-term, France is going to be a good buddy for me to use against Castile when I decide that I want to take all of Iberia for myself. And I'm going to. For rivals, we've actually got a surprising number over here, so I mean, I'm going to go ahead and pick up probably rivals on Morocco against Tlemcen and against Tunis. That all seems fine. Why Granada can rival me, but I can't rival them? I don't know. Oh, it's because I have a peace with them. Until 1449. Okay, that's fine. And then let's go ahead and hand off a handful of privileges. Pretty typical setup over here. I'm going to make sure I get the extra monarch points from all of the estates. We're going to go for some of the extra benefits like, I don't know, let's say some extra prestige, some extra manpower and stuff, and then of course we also want to go for the cheaper advisors across the board. I will also become indebted to the burghers right off the bat, because I'm going to end up taking some loans. I know this will be a fact, I might as well get the cheap ones. Get some advisors, by the way. Yearly inflation reduction guy, I mean, he's kind of okay. Not what I was looking for, but we'll need him eventually. I don't know about this improved relations and spy network stuff here. We'll go ahead and try to cycle you out for someone a little bit better. Land force limit's not going to do it, but morale of armies is acceptable. I'll take that. I'm going to get rid of all my cavalry because we are not wealthy at the beginning of the game, so I really can't afford to have them. And then I'm going to take 3 of my light ships. We're going to split them off, and here's one of the really cool things about Portugal. We start off, weirdly enough, with an explorer. A pretty good one, Diogo Gomes. So we're going to be making use of him for some immediate exploration around, let's say, West Africa. But this will get even better because we're going to be building ourselves a flagship in Lisboa. I honestly forget about flagships sometimes, but with Portugal, you really can't afford to forget this. So we're going to be going for a light ship because there are some pretty special, unique things that we can get only as Portugal, including Portuguese navigators, fleet exploration range plus 1.25. Increases the cost of the ship, yes, but it means our explorer is actually going to be able to go so much further than anyone else at the very beginning of the game. We could also consider going for things like naval barrage cost minus 40%, which means we could do some very cheap naval barrages using our navy. I'll pick that up. There's also a trade power option and stuff like that, which is, you know, not bad. But I'll pass on that for now and not increase the maintenance of the ship. I'll use this for occasional combat, otherwise it's not going to be doing trade, it's just going to be doing exploration. So we'll start that process right away. We'll build up a couple of galleys as well. That's going to get me up toward my force limit, which is what I wanted. And I think this is good enough for starting. Okay, that's all just the starting moves. What achievements are we going for, you might be asking? This time it actually is quite relevant, so let's go ahead and take a look. Here's the first one we will do. This is a long-term mission. All blue. As Portugal, all of Europe must be owned by me or blue European countries that exist in 1444. That would include folks like Provence, France, maybe Venice, Bavaria or Munich, Landshut, and stuff like that. These kind of nations all need to exist and own the entirety of Europe. That's how you win that achievement. A little bit weird, kind of racist, but that's what we're gonna go for. The other achievement that I really want to get is called the Navigator. There it is. As Portugal, own a province in Africa, India, and Indonesia before 1500. This is the hard one, because this means we are on the clock to get that gosh dang colonization going very quickly, and we need to be very intentional about where we are going to be colonizing. Oh, I just noticed, by the way, the freest man in the world. Is that a One Piece reference? Oh, it totally is. That's sick. Another achievement we will be able to get is Not So Sad a State, as Portugal have a colony in Brazil and Africa at the same time. That'll be easy, we'll do that kind of naturally, I'm not really worried about it. And then we can also do things like own a crown colony and a self-governing colony and a private enterprise, all at the same time. Right, there's a few little things I could do here that aren't necessarily Poland-specific, Portugal-specific, but we can go ahead and do them. Anyway, we're in good shape now. I'm gonna go ahead and delete this fort over here in the grasslands, by the way. It's not really a good defensive fort, so why have it? Even though I do expect to be fighting Castile, would have much rather have the fort here, but oh well, that's what it is. Not going to delete this one down over here, though. Might be useful against Morocco later. We're just going to go ahead and mothball everything and reduce army maintenance to try and save up a little bit of money just for now. And now we can finally unpause the game, because there are a couple of other things that I need to do before we go too much further. First off, I'm going to be breaking my alliance with England, which seems weird because I just made them like me a lot, but I really don't want to get involved in a war against France, especially when I am actively trying to make them like me. I'm also going to start the process of currying favors with Castile pretty much immediately, and then beyond that, let's go ahead and start improving relations with the Papal State. I want to be allies with them because we're going to be Catholic the entire game, and that means it's generally good to be getting a lot of papal influence. And that's kind of it for the moment, mainly because we do currently have a regency, I believe. Regency for Alfonso V. We're not going to be able to do pretty much any war for a while, plus like Granada has a truce and stuff like that, so yeah, no immediate fun warfare plays. We're kind of stuck for at least a couple of years. Oh, I immediately got the radical reforms? Oh, that is nice. Let's go ahead and fire these advisors, then get the free power, and then I'll just hire them right back. Love it when that happens. Gorgeous. Okay, I got my 100 relations with the Papal State. That should be enough to finish up one of my estate agendas. Great. Another thing that we can start doing is immediately get some spy network going against Jolof. We could actually go for a no CB war against them, which would be a very interesting play for us. It's a little risky because they're, It always sucks to lose 2 stability, but they only have military tech level 2, so if we wanted to, we could go for this and try seizing some land in Africa right away. I'm not feeling quite that brave, but if we wanted to, we could start the process of building a spy network, so once I set up a colony in Arguin or in Cape Verde, we'll be able to immediately get a claim, and then who cares if we even finish this colony, we just run in, grab the coastline, and that makes it easier for us to work our way around Africa. See, a big part of this game is that we're going to be having to leapfrog our way down little pieces of Africa as far down our colonial range as we can get, all the way until we need to fight Kilwa over Zanzibar. Then we can pop over east, try to discover Indonesia, and that's how we're going to finish getting the Navigator achievement quickly. But getting there's tough. So alternatively, I'll do is I'll start working on getting a claim against Granada. I wouldn't mind being able to control something like Jabal Tariq over here, just so we would be able to maybe control a strait later on. Could be useful against Spain someday in the future, and I know Spain is going to want to declare war on Granada pretty much as soon as they have the opportunity. So, yeah, we're gonna try to grab a claim. I'll get all the claims I care about with Africa as soon as this mission is done. And for that, I'm just waiting on some troops and some ships, which is already done. Competitive advantage, Dunskies. Thank you. Permanent claims on all of this area. That's a lot that I can use against Castile when the time comes. That's good. Naples, it looks like, is going to become independent, so we'll see what ends up happening with them soon. There might be a succession war with Aragon. Aragon's another nation we could consider allying against Castile at some point in the future, if we need to, though I'm hoping France is going to be sufficient. And in the meantime, we have just about a year, a little less to go, and then the Regency Council will end. In fact, now that we're getting closer to the end, let's go ahead and quickly get all of our forts and our troops up and a-running. One thing that would be helpful is if I got military access with Castile. The plan here is pretty straightforward. I know that Granada is allied to Morocco. We're going to be declaring war on Morocco. Granada gets called in. I'm going to try to rush in here and siege all of this before Castile has a chance to do anything. And then beyond that, I mean, we'll just see kind of what they give us. Hopefully some good stuff. Another mission completed now that we have launched our flagship. Gorgeous. And we're going to be able to get our claim here against Granada at just the right time. Alfonso de Avis has risen to the throne. He is an expansionist, by the way. Gonna be quite nice for when we do start the settling. In the meantime, we can now declare our war against Morocco, which seems terrible until we promise land to Castile that I have no intention of giving them, and then we go ahead and just call them in. This also gets me the Duke of Coimbra event, where we can gain a stability, which I like, or we can get trade efficiency and tax modifier for the entire life of this character. So it comes down to, do I want to get some free monarch points, and this is quite nice, or do I want to get some money? And considering our leader is very young, with any luck, this lasts like 50, 60 years. It's pretty good. I guess I'll take it, yeah, but the stability is really tempting. Almost most of the time, that's what I would prefer to get. All right, let's go ahead and declare this war immediately. And now we're going to have our navy in position to deal with anything as they come through. I'm going to run into Granada the second they become available. There they are. All right, let's try to get in here and deal with them quickly. We should be able to win this fight fairly easily, I would imagine. Castile's coming in to help, which is great. Oh, funny enough, Pretender rises at the same time. So, they pick winner, I guess? Well, at least we got all the help we need, plus I just got a bonus for my, general morale damage, heck yes. Anyway, there's Morocco trying to do their thing. They're gonna siege down this fort. Hopefully Castile does all the heavy lifting for me. Now, one problem is they're probably gonna demand these territories for themselves. They don't want to hand it off to me, and I totally forgot that I meant to, like, click a bunch of things and say, hey, these are desired territories. I can't do that to everything anymore now. Whoops. Well, it doesn't matter. Honestly, odds are pretty good Castile was never going to give it to us anyway. They're going to siege that stuff down and say, we want it. Well, guess what? I don't care. So let's see what Castile can do down over here. They're going to make the run for it. All right, perfect. I'd love to get in there and see if I can't siege down some land. Kind of difficult to do because I don't want to lose any units. I'll join on the fight and then see if I can't immediately run over here and siege something else down. Whoa, maybe not, actually. Oh, crap, I'm now stuck in a bad spot. Exactly what I was hoping wouldn't happen just happened. I'm probably going to get stacked here by one unit, but still. Yeah, whoops, 1,000 manpower gone. I didn't mean for that to happen, but oh well. So now they're sieging down this fort. We're sieging down these up over here. Looks good. We do have a war against Tunis as well, technically. So, like, they could become a problem for me, but we'll see. One thing I could consider doing over here is try to do a naval barrage. I'm not the one ordering the siege. Never mind. I could have spent a teeny amount of military power to blow this open and speed this up, but nope. Oh well, we can do it over here instead, though. It's not as cheap as it could be. 29? What do I need? There's a way to boost it down even further, and I'm trying to remember what it is. I think it might actually be a naval tradition that I don't have yet. Whatever, it's fine. Okay, they've stacked up a pretty decent number of troops over here. I would love to go and crush them, but I need Castile to get their act together, because they got a little scared after losing a quick fight against these guys. We could merc up if I need to. Really would rather not, though, because that would set me back by a lot in terms of debt. Alternatively, what we could do is try to go and siege down, like, anything in Tunis, and try to get them out of the war. That would probably turn things more in my favor. Sweet, I got the fort really quickly. That's great. Okay, so let's have you break off your relationship with Morocco. Give me some cash. That turns the tide very nicely, thank you. Granada wants out of the war, which we could probably acquiesce now. Probably gonna make Castile pretty angry, but we sort of expected that. I could actually be really mean and just take all of this right now. Says there's a possible coalition, but with people I don't really care about, so, like, this is a way of me just grabbing all this land and denying it to Spain right off the bat, and I'm kind of inclined to do this, so I'm going to. Thank you. And amazingly, I'm maneuvering this in such a way right now that I'm still managing to grab all this coastline that I think Castile would have tried to take in this peace deal, which gives me options. I'm not even sure if I want to take all of this right now. There's other things I've got in mind, but, like, if we can, sure, let's take it. But I've only got 2% war score after all this so far, so I mean, like, we gotta actually, like, win this now. In a couple of years, though, I am gonna want to pick up some ideas here. It's kind of important I do that. I'm gonna swap over to an admin focus and just store up my Diplo points, because what I want to do is be able to get to this tech in the next couple of years. And then I want to have enough Diplo power that I can start putting into my exploration ideas right away. See, Castile's trying to see some stuff now. Look how mean you guys are. Just like, no. Go away. Stop it. Castile's honestly not been nearly as helpful in this war as I would have liked. I mean, sure, they, like, took the brunt of a couple of big attacks. Almost everything else I've had to do myself, which I find highly annoying. Hey, you want to stack up on me so we can go kill this group? No? Is that ridiculous? Oh, we can't. Gosh dang, these forts keep getting in the way. Whatever. Hey, let's go ahead and take my flagship, by the way, plus my other couple of light ships. And at this point, I think we no longer need the fleet to help out with this war, so let's go back to exploring. And notice we can see all the way up to the North Atlantic coast right now, which is kind of cool. But I want to focus mostly on West Africa for now. Nothing else really matters. And unconditional surrender has occurred. Perfect. All right. Hey, I really wish, Castile, you hadn't just sieged this down and kept that for yourself there. You don't even have claims on it, so that's just, like, so unnecessary. It's not even funny. Anyway, all right, so there are a couple of things we really care about here. Let's take a look at trade goods. Notice something. Gold mine, right there. Big, honkin', beautiful gold mine. If we want to get some money online, I feel like that's kind of what we want to take. We want to do anything we can to snake over here and grab this, man. That would be worth a lot for me, as long as I can hold on to it anyway. Then we could go ahead and take some territory along here. Another thing I could consider doing is, like, releasing Fez as a country, which has just, like, 3 provinces. That would be one way of also increasing my influence without spending all my admin power at a time when I'm trying to get tech up and running. So, like, we could do that. That would be a thing, yeah. As weird as this is, I think this is an acceptable peace deal for me. I think this is what I'm going to end up taking. It's kind of gross. It's kind of border gory. But if it gets me a gold mine, it's worth it. All right, so that war's done. Thank you all very kindly. That actually finishes another mission for me. We can go over here toward conquering Tangiers, which I have, which gets me, lo and behold, a whole bunch of admin power at a time when I really needed it. I also get a bunch of permanent claims on Garb in southern Morocco, which is one thing I could have, like, not taken land down here because I was about to get a bunch of claims anyway. But I figure going for the gold mine immediately, kind of more important, yeah? Now the question is, do I core all this land, or do I wait until I have admin ideas, or sorry, admin tech, then grab the ideas, and then we slowly work on it? Which is kind of a hard decision to make, if I'm completely honest with you. I think given my current situation with things like admin power, I am going to release Fez, just so I don't have to worry about coring these 2 provinces. That'll be on them. And then how far am I off on this? I am about 11 months away from being able to pick this up. I think I'm going to wait and not core this territory right now. And instead we are going to focus on just getting myself my tech, just so I can get the ideas going a little faster. Now, Castile's going to be a bit angry with me. Their trust did go down because we didn't, you know, like, give them what we said we would, but it's fine. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised that they haven't broken their alliance with me already, if I'm honest. I'm going to dissolve the alliance with you. Actually, no, wait. First, I'm going to ask for some money using my favors. Can I have some ducats, please? Oh, thank you. Then I'm going to dissolve the alliance with them, and instead, I'm going to try to pick up an alliance here with France, which I can do now. Thank you. Heck, even Aragon is interested in a relationship with me now, which I will pick up. Good. Hey, an event. Gold found in Tafiliate. We had gold, local goods produced plus 50% for the next 100 years, which is kind of great. And even with our new vassal Fez, I'm at 4 out of 4 diplomatic relations. This is pretty good. The Pope is mad at me from an event, but whatever, he'll be fine. The important thing is, already we're pretty aggressively increasing our economic base. My intention is to take over this entire region for myself, but with the gold mine, if we want to start devving this sucker up, we'll be able to make some pretty serious cash eventually. But again, the most important thing is getting these ideas up and running. The big problem is colonization's kind of expensive. Like, a lot, actually. So, getting our ledgers under control is gonna be a little tough. One more month, and then we can go ahead and pick up the tech. Done skis. Let's grab that. We know we want to grab ourselves some exploration ideas, which I'll do now. I can't start a golden era, or I would have loved to have done that, by the way. I guess we could have sent a lot of development over to our capital. And that would have been an option. If we had spent a lot of power over here, we could have grabbed a golden era. That would make the ideas cheaper, which is why I'm tempted, but like, I don't know about that. Let's go ahead and do this. We want to work toward that colonist as fast as possible. If I can swap over to a Diplo focus again, I will. Whoa! Tlemcen just ate the rest of Morocco over here. Hello. Well, that sucks. They're allied to a bunch of little folks. We are gonna have to deal with you at some point, aren't we? Kind of regretting going for the admin focus now. That's just gonna be too long. 1472 to swap it back over? Yeah, should have just waited. Should have just waited a little bit. I kind of thought it was going to time out in such a way we'd get the second colonist up faster, and I was wrong on that point. Very wrong. We can enact another government reform. We could strengthen up some noble privileges for manpower, curtail them for taxes. I'm kind of leaning in that direction because money is what I really feel like I need right now. So, yeah, let's go ahead and curtail the noble privileges, reduce their influence, get me cash. Taxes, ironically, are kind of how we're going to be making a lot of our money for now. Production obviously is great, but taxes are pretty much all we've got at the beginning of the game. Then we're going to rely very heavily on trade and production. Can't get a naval doctrine, by the way. I think I will do that. We have a unique one as the Portuguese here. This is the Portuguese Marines. This is the other thing I was thinking about with the whole like naval barrage cost, because we have minus 40% from our flagship. We can get another minus 50% here, which means it only costs like 5 mil power to bombard a fort from the coast, which is insanely good. But also we have the blockade impact on sieges and so on. This is going to be very good for us in the long term when it comes to doing lots and lots of naval sieges, islands, India, whatever it's going to be. I'll go ahead and pick this up. Okay, here's the idea. Let's go ahead and grab that colonist immediately. Now what I can do is send a colonist to any territory over here. It doesn't really matter exactly where, but first I guess I do need to choose a policy. Hold on. Well, we could go for this over here, by the way. Settler chance, blah, blah, blah. This is pretty nice, but I don't need it this exact second. Do I want to go for a native policy for global settler increase? Do I want to go for a native uprising chance? There's a lot of good options here. This is obviously the fastest, and in some cases, this is going to be the best for us. I think for now, I'm going to do the native uprising chance until I have a slightly larger military. Then when I do, I'll probably swap over to a native trading policy and go for the assimilation, because we can stack that up nicely. But for now, I can't really afford to have anybody rising up against me, you know what I mean? Anyway, what I want to do now is I'm going to send these guys over here, and they're going to arrive in Cape Verde. And the second we have that, I'm going to go over here to Jolof, and I'm going to start fabricating a couple of claims. Because we have what we need in order to do that thanks to my spy network. Now, if I wanted to, I could actually just abandon this colony entirely, but the point is we can now go to war against Jolof, grab a couple of provinces over here, and that's actually an even faster way to get me started around Africa. And yeah, they have allies, but like they're all military tech level 2. I am way stronger than military tech level 2, let me tell you. So now I can declare this war. I could have done a no CB war and lost all my stability, but I'd rather do this instead. Even though the numbers don't look good, I feel completely fine with this. So let's go ahead and declare our war. And then we're just going to go ahead and simply land here, and the European forces are going to just start conquering. It's what we do. And now that I've got that, I'm going to go ahead and probably recall my colonists, because I don't see a reason to pay for this right now. And we're going to abandon this. And that feels really weird, because it's like, don't you want to colonize this stuff? Yeah, but I really want to get that achievement going, guys. That's way more important to me. And by the way, we just stack wiped this army over here. That was a stack of 8 soldiers, and we instantly destroyed them. That's what I'm saying, is like, we're not going to be struggling when it comes to actually defeating the African tribes at this stage of the game. It's just not a problem. If I can just take this capital city real quick, what I'll do now is say, give me your coastline. I guess I could try to take the whole thing. What, like, trade zone are we in here? It is part of the Ivory Coast. I'd like to take it all, but honestly, it's just not a priority. For now, the coastline will do fine. Give me your money and stuff. Boom, that war is over, nice and quick. And now, if I want to go to our economic map mode, I thought we would be able to reach a bit further. Am I wrong on that? We are wrong. Why not? It's too far away. Oh, it's because it has to be cored. Right, let's go ahead and core just one of these fast, and once that's done, problem solved. Now, if I could just get one more idea, here's the other crazy thing. My colonial range would go up so stinking much. 20% here, 50% here. Like, legitimately, if I could just hold out long enough to get myself some more Diplo power, like, we could increase our colonial range by a stupid amount once this thing is cored. Now, truce with Castile just ended. If I wanted to, I could now call in France, and we could do a war against Castile. Which seems really mean, but I mean, like, we should be able to win this pretty soundly, wouldn't you think? I think so. Why would Aragon not be willing to join? Apparently they really like Castile. Interesting, considering you decided to go for a event that gave you claims on all of their territory, but fine, whatever. I mean, I can't do much of anything while we deal with these Moroccan separatists and stuff first. That's a little more important at the moment. I'm about to start going into a bit of debt here, but that's honestly fine, because if we can do this war against Castile and win pretty resoundingly, then we are going to be sitting on a lot of money going forward. A lot of it. So let's go ahead and get this party started then, shall we? Let's call in France for a big honkin' war. I'm a little worried about how easily I'm going to be able to win this. It does depend on how quickly France is able to get down here and help. But with any luck, it's going to be fine. If I have to, I can just run across the strait and then just let France do most of the work. Looks like both of us are making beelines for each other's capitals. Awkward. No, my explorer just died. Oh, that sucks. Well, good news is we can get another one, but I don't think I need him right now. I'd rather save the Diplo power to get those ideas up and running, unfortunately. You could have just lasted a bit longer, man. You could have lasted a bit longer. Ooh, a colonial range advisor, though. That helps. Okay, we got Toledo first. That's actually really nice. So I'm risking losing my capital if I don't get in here and do something about this right now. I really wanted France to come down here and finish this fort. They decided Genoa was more important, which is annoying. So instead, I'm going to take this opportunity to carpet siege the crud out of Castile. And then hopefully this means that they are going to lose enough money that when we do fight them, they can't easily reinforce. I don't know. I think we're going to go ahead and hire up one merc company right over here in Evora. I don't want to sit around waiting on this. If we can get our troops positioned and take Lisboa before they siege it down, that'd be ideal. The timing is going to be really tight, but if we can, that would be awesome. Please don't take it. There we go. All right. We have a pretty substantial morale advantage over them right now, so I think winning this is great. Plus, they rolled a 0. We got a 9-2. We call that pretty good. Say goodbye. Get off my fort. So if France can just siege down this fort, they'll finish them off at this point. We're looking really good. And let's think about what we want to actually take away from Spain. There's a few things. Just like down in Morocco, there happens to be a gold mine right here in La Mancha. And y'all can imagine, I'd like to have that. That would be great. Another thing I'd like to get is any territory here that can get me Galicia. This is the cheapest one here. Plus Leon is also going to be a nation we could release. Looking for a cheap province along here. Maybe right here. Wouldn't be bad in Plasencia. 5 development, easy enough, so we could use that to release them. And then there's another province up over here where we could release Asturias. Unfortunately, it looks like France did occupy a territory I would have liked. So I may not be able to release a third vassal up over in this direction, but having the vassals would mean that I'd be able to get some pretty nice reconquest wars in the future. So I'm thinking you want to take both of these at a minimum. And then I want to take La Mancha, which is going to be cheapest going up this way. And then I could work my way along the coast and deny Castile a whole load of trade income, which wouldn't be a bad idea right over here, right? You take Cadiz and you take Sevilla, problem solved. Like, that in and of itself would be enough of a peace deal for me to feel pretty happy about that. We could consider doing other things, though, like humiliating them, which I wouldn't mind doing, actually. That could be pretty good, because I would like to get the Golden Age going with the Age of Discovery. So maybe this is actually the way to go. You take these provinces along here, that leaves me with enough war score that we could go for a humiliate. Ah, but they're not my rival! Yeah, I should have rivaled Castile before I did this. I didn't even think about that. Boo. Alright, whatever, it's fine. Hey, by the way, can we take a look at my, well, let's see, how close are we to getting that idea? Very close. I want to start a colony, but let's just wait a minute. Wait a minute, because our colonial range is about to go up so much. Okay, 99% war score. I think as soon as this naval battle is done, we could just end it now, which is what I'm going to do. Okay, so hang on. Let's actually rework this a second, because I did change something else here. So I can grab this for myself now, which is great. We'll take these, take this, take these, this. That's 80% war score right there. That's enough to release 3 vassals, which... I mean, the problem with 3 vassals is that I'm going to be over my relationship limit at a time that I can't afford to do that. So maybe we do actually skip on Asturias and we just accept we're not going to have a vassal there. Yeah, I think that's the right call here. All right, war reps, money. A lot of that's going to get handed off to France, but I did a decent amount of the work myself, to be honest. So, I mean, like, this is okay. Let's wait a second because France might actually just go deal with my rebels for me, which would be ideal. Or not. Thanks, guys. Ah, whatever, it's fine. Just do this. All right, boom. So we take all this land over here. Love it. Let's go over here real quick and start releasing some folks. We're going to release Galicia as 1 vassal and Leon as another. There we go. So now all of this is going to be easily reconquered. All of this will be reconquered. Then we can go for some annexations. Love that. We need to pick up this right here. Portuguese colonial growth. 50 settler increase. Yes. Boom. That means we are going to start colonizing so much faster. We now can also grab our colonial range, which is boosted. Plus we have this, which means now if I look at my colonial map mode, we have... My range is still not as far as I would have expected, if I'm completely honest. Maybe we have to wait until the end of the month. I really would have thought it would go a lot further than this, but I guess the Grain Coast is as far down as we can go. Okay, I mean, I'm going to wait till the end of the month to be sure, but then we'll go ahead and start the colonization process. Oh, and let's not forget to go to our estates real quick with the nobility. We want to get strong duchies so I don't take up my relations. There we go. So that saves me from bleeding my Diplo power now. And now that we're going to start colonizing, I guess now's a good time to go ahead and start with Unknown Frontier. So that's going to be a thing. Then we can colonize West Africa. Gets me another explorer plus some more Diplo power. I'll take it. And we will resume with our exploration as much as I'm able. Actually, I just realized I think the problem with the colony is that we have stuff sieged down over here, right? Yeah, I think that's the issue. This stuff is sieged down. Once I take it back, I think we're okay. Okay, now that we've got this back, can I now actually see my colonial map? And it is a little further along than I thought. Okay, well, we can at least grab this on the Gold Coast. It is a nice trade province, too, which would be great. So let's go ahead and start this process, get a colony going over here as fast as we can. What we will be able to do at some point soon is go to war against the Congo just like before, and we can try to get ourselves some claims and take that coastline. That can also be an option for us. And now if I want to, the next thing I should probably consider doing is going to war against Tlemcen. Because I have a decent amount of admin power I'm sitting on, and Aragon just took a stupid amount of land from Tunis. Whoa! Wow, okay. Well, I could definitely call them in as an ally, right? Or... no, they just did a war, it looks like. They must have just fought Tlemcen as well. No? I'm not sure I understand what your problem is here, then. Also, Aragon is hostile to me all of a sudden. Why? The heck? What happened here, guys? Yeah, they're gonna break their alliance with me. Oh, they want my provinces, that's why. Well, that sucks. Alright, I'm not gonna be able to get anything out of them. Boo! Would have been great to pull them into a war against Tlemcen here so I could grab the rest of this territory, like, right now, but that's not going to be an option for me. Absolute boo. Look, it's not my fault you guys are greedy, okay? It's really not my fault. And unfortunately, nobody else of any consequence wants to join with me. Naples is allied to the Papal State. Maybe I could get Naples on my side as an ally. Be okay, I guess, for some things, but not a lot. Yeah, there's really not any good allies for me right now. I think we're just kind of stuck with what we've got. Oh well, that's a shame. It is what it is, though. What can you do? One thing we can do now is start our golden era, and I'm going to go ahead and do that because this is kind of the most important period for Portugal right now. As far as just like, you know, raw power growth and starting the colonial process. We actually really want the Age of Discovery to last as long as possible. I do not want the Reformation to begin unless absolutely necessary. Aragon, you actually scare me a little bit. This is going to be a scary Aragon here. Ugh. Good thing I got France on my side. We need to keep this going forever. We can now apparently reach all the way over to the Western Indian Ocean, thanks to my Explorer. I just saw that happen. So that's good. It means we're making some pretty serious progress in our range. We also could, theoretically, if I wanted to, like, stop working on this colony and start moving over toward the Congo right now. Which is a real option, yeah. Like, if I want to speed this up, I mean, it's gonna be a bit, but, like, if I were to recall this colonist and set up another one down over, like, let's say here in Luanda, we could do that. Try to get some claims to the Congo, do another war, extend this further, then try to reach all the way down towards South Africa. Could be an option for us. I don't really want to do that if I don't have to, because it's very expensive to maintain multiple colonies at once. I think we have to do it. All right, go ahead and recall this guy over here. Once he's back, we'll go ahead and send him down this direction. That'll give me the claims that I'm going to need. We can start moving the army over in that direction. I just need these Castilian rebels to actually fire, please. Got our claim on the Congo, so we can start heading down that direction now. Very expensive to maintain all of this at once. Let's go ahead and probably just recall this and abandon the colony, same as I had done before. Why waste the money on this right now, you know? I've got what I want, which is a way of extending things a little bit. Ah, we found Kilwa. Okay. This is really important. Before we end this video, let's talk about this real quick. So in order to get the Navigator achievement, I've only got about 30 years left to pull this one off. So a colony in Africa is not an issue. We've already got that going. The real trick is we have to own a territory in India and in Indonesia. India, you don't really want to go to war for if you can avoid it. You could fight the Maldives, but you could. What would be better is instead to do this push to India mission right here. Because basically, if we just discover Goa, they'll give it to me, which is awesome. But to do that, we have to finish Horn of Africa. And for this, we have to conquer Zanzibar, a single little island up over here owned by Kilwa. So that's kind of the big issue that I can think of. We've got to find a way to fight Kilwa, take Zanzibar, and that can propel us all we need for the rest of this. In the meantime, though, I think this is where we're going to end this video. So a very aggressive start. We could have chosen a lot of different ways to do this. We could start building up some colonial nations elsewhere in the world. I could do a lot of things, but I really want to get that Navigator achievement, which just means I have to go fast. And I don't even have to finish colonizing some of this land. I just have to start it. So as long as I can get to Kilwa and take Zanzibar, and that gives me the range I need to explore the rest, we can get this achievement pretty quickly. I've just somehow got to be able to pull that off, and they are a little strong, and their military tech level is completely normal. So, like, yeah, that's gonna be a challenge, but if we can find that, we'll be fine. In the meantime, Castile, we'll deal with them by the time we get to 1478, and we'll just keep eating a lot of their lands. A reconquest war will mostly finish them off. If I can just take a couple of their coastal territories away, by the way, then, like, at that point, they can't even do any colonizing of their own. And Castile's kind of our main rival when it comes to colonizing anything south of Mexico. So removing that as a rival basically means I get entire continents to myself, which is going to feel really good. France will take a little while before they're going to start worrying about getting their colonization of their own. England is obviously going to start doing colonizing as well, but they can have North America. I really don't care. If I own Iberia, so much money from Mexico and south, and then everything from Africa and Asia, India, Indonesia, Australia, all of that is going to flow into the Sevilla trade node, Sevilla. And if I control this, I will make so much gosh dang money, it's going to be amazing. We got to get to that point. So thank you all very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If so, I would ask you to hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe, hit that notify bell, and I will see you guys next time.